Hi, and thank you for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This is a special edition focusing on Sussexit, the sudden announcement by Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan that they're stepping down as senior royals. The stories, tweets, and comments we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 39. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra. I'm the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So we were going to take this whole month of January off, but then the Sussex were like, we're quitting this bitch. And we were thinking we should really talk about that. Plus, there's all this stuff coming up that we should do a little bit more workarounds for.
Yeah, so we're basically going to have some podcasts interspersed over like the next month, basically. We're going to have one or two extra podcasts.
So we're going to come out.
Yeah, we don't have to like go into the dates. They'll come out when they come out and you'll see them.
I'll tell them. Why, you want to change it? I kind of do. I like having flexibility. All right, we'll let you know. We want to come out next week too. And then we'll come out twice in February just because I got to move and things are crazy, but we'll figure it out and we'll let you know. We're sorry. We're inconsistent as hell.
It'll be a surprise when we do come out. It'll be a happy surprise.
Yeah, we're not coming out every week in February, but we'll have a couple this month and a couple next month. All right, so I'm moving to a new house. It was not really my choice, but neither was getting a new car. And my new car was better than my old car. So that's how I'm trying to think of it. Because my landlords are like kind of slumlordy. And
does your new place have air conditioning? Because your current place does not, right?
No, it has central air. It's gorgeous. It's huge. And it's such a magnificent upgrade that I'm happy.
I couldn't live in a place without central air at this point.
Oh, I thought you had an older house, but you have central air?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice. That sounds like so luxurious. But I mean, this house is absolutely beautiful. I can't believe I found it and it's for rent. And the lady's like, oh, I'd love to have you. And I'm like, really? Okay.
That's nice. It's really nice.
Yeah. I got a lot of crap I've collected over the years, so it's going to take me a little bit. But I got the whole month of February to move, so that'll be good.
All right.
How's everything going by you?
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, I had a real quiet holiday, which was nice. I didn't get a lot of sleep, which wasn't great, but that was my own fault for not taking it more seriously. But I rested. I felt like I was well rested over the holiday. So went to the gym, and your gym has been having a lot of problems, or newbies. Yeah, the gym's been so crowded in January. I keep going at night, and I've gone to 3 different classes and just left because I'll show up and look in there and be like, wow, there are so many people, I'm not going to bother. And there is a class that I went to where I was the only person in that class 2 weeks ago. And then I went to it last night and it was totally full and I ditched. Yeah. And my theory is that by the end of January, that's when all the newbies start to drop off. It's crazy. We talk about this every year, and I can't believe it every year. Well, honestly, though, it used to be a lot worse at my gym. The first week in January would be insane, and every machine would be taken. But now there is an influx of new people, but it's not crazy. Maybe I just go off times already. Yeah. I always work out with a lot of senior citizens, but I like it that way. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah. And it's nice to go to the grocery store too before everybody gets off of work. And we live in the boonies kind of, so we're not dealing with a lot of traffic or anything, but I still get annoyed by crowded things. Yeah, I'm not super rural, but I live adjacent to a real ritzy section. I'm really close to a lot of nice stuff, like a really nice gym and really nice stores, and I try to go off hours everywhere. Yes, I like that too. All right, so this week, the Sussexes announced they're stepping back from their roles as senior royals. And they're going to split their time between North America and the UK. And they're going to work to be financially independent. They did it in the afternoon, our time, Eastern time. So they totally... Well, I was trying to figure out, so is England 5 hours ahead of us or 6 hours? 5. It depends on daylight savings, but it's 5 now. It's 5 now. So they dropped that news at around 7 p.m. in England and around 2 p.m. here. So they really were looking towards the American media, which is totally appropriate. I feel like Meghan and Harry have done a lot of stuff aimed at the American media. Because that's their friendliest media for them.
Yes. And they really spelled that out in their new website.
Yes.
And they dropped that website, SussexRoyal.com. They're not messing around with the .uk, .gov. No, what are they?
That's very true. I didn't even think of that. It's, just SussexRoyal.com.
Yeah, they're not messing around. So they took 6 weeks off over the holidays. We didn't know where they were for a long time. And then we found out they were in Canada. And we didn't see them at all until they went to that Canada house in London on January 7th.
No, well, we did see them through their photo releases. They released the photo of Harry and Archie in Canada, and that's when we already knew they were in Canada because William exposed them. I believe that conspiracy theory.
Okay.
That William was briefing the press about his plans, his Christmas plans, and then he told Rebecca English where Meghan and Harry were. Because she had the exclusive and she's known as the mouthpiece for the Cambridges.
Or it could have been somebody in their camp at their direction.
That's true. It came from William or Camp William.
Yeah, his side. So we saw them outside Canada House and everybody was talking about how gorgeous and happy Meghan looked. Just she was glowing, right? She knew she won by then. She had a plan.
Yeah.
We didn't know yet.
That was my point. Everyone was like, oh, is she pregnant? And you only realize in retrospect that that's the going away photo shoot.
Yes.
Harry and Meghan, they wanted new photos to be out before they announced that they were leaving. So that everyone would use those photos of them looking really hot and really smiley and really pulled together. Yeah, holding hands, presenting this very glossy, beautiful front. And those are the photos that everyone wanted to use.
Do you remember those last photos of Katie Holmes with Tom Cruise on the red carpet? And she was looking beat down up until then. And then in her last photo, she was like, yeah, bitches.
Wait, Tom Cruise and which ex-wife?
Katie Holmes.
I actually don't remember their last photo shoot together because in the lead up to the divorce, she was photographed solo so much. She was always out and about in New York. And for a whole year, it was just photos of her alone or photos with her in Surrey. And we should have known anyway, but that's a whole digression. But
I just remember the red carpet photos of her where she always looked totally miserable with him until before she dropped the bomb. You look at her and she's like, aha, and she's smirking. I'm serious, she was.
Well, if you go back and look at, I remember this though, the photos of Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman the months before they separated. And those photos are really fun to go back and look at because you can see the very minute that Nicole stops giving a shit.
Now I want to look at those too. Oh man. So yeah, Meghan was like, aha. And you wrote this really great editorial about how she's such a planner and she had this whole thing mapped out.
Yeah, and this is just a theory, but my theory is that between Meghan and Harry, Meghan is the planner. She's the one who will sit there and game theory about if we do this, what happens then, and then what happens after that. And my evidence for this theory is the way that she played her father and the media over that letter that she sent. I mean, think about the planning that was involved with that and how beautifully she manipulated all parties. And I'm not saying that she's a manipulative person. I'm saying that she knows how shit operates. Yeah, she figured out how to
she set it up,
play everybody and come out ahead of them. So yeah, the letter thing, that was next level for me. But then I think that she's doing the same thing here. I think that maybe Meghan and Harry didn't want to make that announcement right at that very moment, and they ended up making it because it was about to leak. And that's a whole other story, too, about who leaked it and why. But yeah, let's just say that they were planning on making the announcement at some point this week, and they had to hurry up and make it very quickly before it got leaked. But they had everything set up. This was always the plan, to announce it suddenly at some point. And we found out today, we're recording on Thursday, that despite 24 hours of saying, oh, the Queen was completely caught off guard. Oh, Charles and William, they're mad as hornets. They're raging.
Incandescent.
Yeah, incandescent with rage.
Incandescent with rage.
Yeah.
It is that word even. Like, I don't ever use that word.
They all knew. All the senior royals knew because Harry had been trying to go to them and say, we're not happy. This is our plan. We want to move abroad. And they just kept being passed over and passed on. And everyone was like, no, we don't want to listen to this. You should talk to Charles. You should talk to the Queen. You should talk to William.
Yeah.
Just kept getting...
the runaround.
Yeah, the runaround.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, we're just going to do this. So my theory is that she always knew that it was going to end up like this. And so she and Harry decide to make their laundry list of demands, basically. And
it's their website, and it's all on their website. It's saying how they're going to handle stuff. And it's like, this is our plan.
Yep. And that's their starting off point for negotiations. And now that it's all out there, now that it's public, the Queen will look like such an asshole if she says, okay, you can't be the Duke and Duchess of Sussex anymore. Okay, we're going to take away your HRH titles. You're no longer Her Royal Highness, His Royal Highness. Especially if she takes that away from Harry and Meghan, and she never took it away from Andrew.
So I did not know about that Royal Rota, which is the UK media outlets which are given preferential treatment and first dibs on the stories about the royals. But the SussexRoyal website under their media section lays that all out. So now, and you knew this, I'm trying to figure out all this stuff as I go, and I read your stories, but I don't get it at the same level you do. Nobody does. Some of our readers do. But sorry,
I didn't know that it was an official thing, that it was called the Royal Rota, that all of these reporters all get first dibs. I always knew that there was the press corps, and I just figured that they all had, the same deal with the palace, that, you're going to get a call at this point for this event and that kind of thing. Apparently it's very official, and that certain publications are on the Royal Rota and some are not.
So the media outlets that are on the Royal Rota were totally named on this website. And they're the Daily Express, the Daily Mail, Daily Mirror, the Evening Standard, the Telegraph, the Times, and the Sun. It's a new media model, essentially, now because of the internet, and they're not going to give preference to those outlets. But they also totally expose the fact that these are the outlets that have been smearing them. It was unsaid.
Right.
And of course, they had to get it from the palace. This was a brilliant move.
Yeah, because we already knew that Meghan and Harry were looking outside of the traditional, well, as we know now, the Royal Rota. Like, that Meghan would go to People magazine, and her friends would go to People magazine. And even before she and Harry got engaged, she was doing very, strategic leaks to E! News. Yeah. I remember those days. I do.
It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, she was leaking to E! News and, for getting very preferential treatment by them. But yeah, I just think that it's quite obvious payback, because those are the outlets that have been lying about her. Not so much the Evening Standard and the Telegraph, although the Telegraph has one reporter who absolutely hates Meghan.
The Times has had some stuff where I've been like, oh, I didn't realize that they were like that.
Yeah. I think the Times had that story about, they broke the story about William exiling Harry and Meghan last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they broke that story. But the Daily Mail, the Daily Express, the Sun, those are the worst ones. And those are the ones that Harry and Meghan are already suing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh. This is a really fascinating thing to watch. It is amazing. Yeah. We stan Meghan already. We already have. This is next level.
All right. So after the senior royals all made a big deal about how stunned and shocked and appalled they all were that the Sussexes made this sudden announcement, it turns out that they already knew. And then the news just came out as we were coming to pod that all of a sudden the Queen has pulled together all of the major households, which means her own household, Kensington Palace, Clarence House, and SussexRoyal House, I would assume. They're all supposed to work together with the government and find a solution in a matter of quote-unquote days, not weeks. So all of a sudden, everyone's in a hurry because the Sussexes... Yeah, they played their hand, and it turns out that they can't dawdle anymore, and give them the runaround. Another brilliant move from Harry and Meghan. I mean, is it possible that all this will blow up in Harry and Meghan's faces? Sure. But, you know,
not by us.
Yeah.
Not on our side.
I mean, I was an old school Diana watcher. I loved a lot of things about Diana, but I've said in my coverage a few times, Diana's strength was tactics. She was a short-term thinker. She acted out of anger a lot of times. She acted out of emotion. It feels like Harry and Meghan are different in that way, especially Meghan. Meghan really thinks things through. And please, let's stop with the, what will they do if they don't have titles or if they aren't protected by the royals? Like, they'll find stuff to do.
If she wrote a book, even with the way she writes, it would be like, you know, a bestseller.
I love Meghan, but she's not the strongest writer. Sorry.
She's not a good writer. She needs a good editor. She needs a good editor to tell her to stop talking about her dogs. And so they're going to work to the financial independence. We were talking about this on email, and I kind of skimmed their section about finances, but they said they get 95% of their funding from the Duchy of Cornwall, which is Prince Charles's estate, and only 5% is from
the sovereign. Yeah.
Okay.
That's basically office.
Okay.
That's the money that the government gives the Queen, and the Queen gets to allocate however she sees fit.
Yes.
Because their office is currently in Buckingham Palace, basically the Queen is picking up the costs of their office, and then Charles is picking up the costs of everything else, I think.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. From what I interpreted, although I didn't read it that thorough, they didn't say anything about what they're doing with Charles's money, but they said they're going to cut the other money off and not take it.
Well, the thing about it is it's super complicated because everything will depend on whether or not they are still in any way working royals. Because if they are working royals, that means Charles can and will still fund them.
Yes.
I mean, that's a tax deduction for him, basically, because he'll have to buy Meghan's clothes and he'll have to spend the money on their travel and their security. That's a big cost. So that's the designation that's going to be important. Are they still going to be, quote unquote, working royals? It doesn't matter if they're senior royals. It matters if they're working royals.
I just pulled up their Instagram statement about this again, and they said they're stepping back as senior members of the royal family will work to be financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen.
Right. And as I said, like, that's not entirely up to them. That's what all of these meetings are going to be about. I mean, hopefully we'll get the podcast out before they make a final decision.
If we can do a quick, if there's a big breaking news story about this before I put it out.
Yeah, we'll do an update. Yeah.
We'll do an update. I was going to put it out Sunday night, but if it comes Sunday night before Monday morning or whatever, we'll do another podcast. So
yeah. These are the things that we'll need to know. Are they still going to be designated working royals? Are they going to keep their HRH royal designation? And are they still going to keep their titles? Those are the three big things. And the financial stuff, we'll get those answers from, are they still working royals?
Okay. Yeah. There's so much to unpack and interpret here. But there was something on their website that said they would like to continue to be working royals. Yeah. If they're allowed to, essentially.
No, I mean, that's basically what it is. If they're allowed to. If the Queen doesn't shit can them. If
shit can. You have such a way of phrasing things.
Is that a Southern expression, shit can? I think so.
No, I've heard it, but it's odd. I don't hear it much.
What were we even talking about? Working royals. They still want to be working royals. They just want to do it on their terms. They want to be able to work in England when they can, and they want to be able to work in Canada when they can, and they also want to be able to make financial deals in America.
I mean, I'll watch. They're going to have that Apple thing with Harry and Oprah. Like, I might just subscribe to Apple Plus for that. And then, they can do Netflix or whatever they want. People are on board for them, and we love them. And they can make a ton of money here. I know that's not their objective, but they're going to have a expensive lifestyle because they're going to need security.
They're just going to have a lot of support here.
Yeah. I think they're going to Canada, though. Do you think they're going to Canada? Which is a good move because we have the trashiest government here ever right now.
I think maybe both. I think maybe they'll have a house in either New York or LA and Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I remember when Meghan flew into New York for the US Open last September just to see Serena in the final, lose in the final.
Yeah.
God. And before the match started, the camera panned to Meghan sitting next to Serena's mother. And when they put her on the big screen, all of Arthur Ashe Stadium, tens of thousands of people, they all cheered for her.
Aww.
We love her.
We do.
We're very proud of her as Americans.
I just want to talk to our listeners. You guys know us. We do not stand people easily. We are cynical. It takes us a lot to warm up to somebody. Meghan really earned that. She earned that from, us. She earned that from American people. And the people who hate on her are so ridiculous and transparent to me.
Yeah, they are. Have you seen all the tweets about, it's on Black Twitter, they call her Good Sis Meg?
No, it's cute, though.
Everything is Good Sis Meg.
Send me a link to that so I can put that on the post.
Okay.
I have some tweets that I found cute. Which ones do you want me to read off of these three I have on our document?
I like the Elizabeth Kidd one.
So Elizabeth Kidd wrote, and I found this tweet because you liked it, and it said that Kaiser at CB liked it. She wrote, "Excuse me, did Meghan Markle just direct a gender-swapped Hallmark movie where the prince gives up his crown for love?" Mm-hmm. Nobody could write it better than it's been happening. I really hope it turns out for the best for them, and I think it will. Maybe there is something to live in that affirmational life, which we talked about, that Meghan has.
Yeah.
She goes through life with blinders, but here she is planning for stuff. It hasn't fully come to fruition yet, but it looks like she outmaneuvered them.
Yeah, she did. I mean, it's complicated. I remember when everyone used to say that Kate was the biggest drama queen. And she is. Kate is a drama queen. She really is. But Meghan is too.
Okay.
I think both brothers like their women with some drama.
I think, though, what we think is drama, too, and I have this and I fight it a lot, you know me, is people who feel things real deep.
Yeah, and that's Meghan. It's not Kate. But it's Meghan.
No, Meghan feels things really deep. And, I mean, Kate's British, so that's not that...
I just feel like Kate is a very...
Prim?
She just seems very closed off. Emotionally closed off, yeah.
But yeah, Meghan feels things deep.
Anyway.
So, I like this one, too, this other tweet by Eve Ettinger, and she wrote, "It's okay to spend less time with your toxic parents. It's okay to move across the globe and start ignoring your father. It's okay to marry a prince and teach him about boundaries. It's okay to dismantle a dynasty because they're toxic colonizers. Do what you need to cope."
That's a good one.
All right, let's move on to the comments of the week. So we had the Golden Globes. We're not going to go into that because in our next podcast.
Because everyone has totally forgotten about the Golden Globes because of all this Sussex drama.
It sucked the air out of the room. No one gives a shit about these Golden Globes. So Gwyneth Paltrow wore this brown see-through ruffled monstrosity, literally showing her ass. She had on ruffled granny panties under it. This was outrageous. And so this is a comment on the post with her fashion. So SM Collins wrote, "My main takeaway from looking at this dress is that Fendi should stick to handbags," which is true. And then My 3 Cents wrote, "That scoop for you. Even her dresses are passive aggressive."
Very true.
Yeah.
My comment of the week was from the happy birthday, Kate. She's turned 38 today as we're recording on Thursday, the 9th of January. Kensington Palace released this absolutely ridiculous, well, it wasn't ridiculous. It was just kind of...
She looked cute.
Okay, so she's just in a very simple sweater and jeans, and she's leaning against a fence, and she's not even looking in the camera. She's looking off. I feel like she's smiling, but she's not smizing, as Tyra Banks would say.
Does she ever smize? She does not. She's got
she totally smizes.
Manic.
She totally smizes.
She's got manic,
She looks very uncomfortable. But anyway, Zap Brannigan wrote, "What an appropriate image of her sitting on a fence, not standing for anything. Happy birthday, Kate."
It's totally overshadowed her birthday, which nobody would have cared about anyway.
Oh, so funny.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
We'll be back next week. Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. If you like us, tell a friend. And if you rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen, it helps us out and we appreciate it a lot. Our phone number is 434-218-3219, where you can text us or leave a voicemail. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.